Should you invest in crypto? That is the number one question everyone wants to know. You're either all for crypto, you're all in, or you want nothing to do with it. But here I am in this video, I'm just going to clear up a few things. Number one is that crypto is no longer speculative, I guess you want to say. Now, when you say crypto, that is the whole industry. So let me rephrase that. Bitcoin is no longer speculative, right? Because now it's being introduced into our world as it is, right? Today, right? As it exists today, it's being included in the world as the digital gold. So instead of buying gold, you'll buy Bitcoin as the digital version of gold. So Bitcoin is no longer a scam. It's no longer I'm talking about hedge funds, banks, big time people, big companies are buying Bitcoin now. Everybody owns Bitcoin. So it's not something where you should be fearful anymore. So the question is, when it comes to crypto as a whole, should you invest in crypto? Now, crypto usually goes by a 4-year cycle. Now, a lot of people are talking about the fact that maybe now that we're adopting crypto, it's no longer going to follow the cycle. Now, the way the cycle used to work was the first year was the bear market, which is when cryptos are at the worst, right? Is almost at zero. That's when you should be buying. And then you had the accumulation phase, which was year 2. And that's when you keep buying crypto with dollar cost average a little bit every time. And then you had the halving cycle, which is still going to exist. It happens every 4 years. But the halving cycle is when the supply of Bitcoin gets cut in half. If you remember school, supply and demand, when your supply gets cut, demand rises, right? So every 4 years, the supply of Bitcoin will be cut, right? And then year 4 would be the bull run, what we call the bull run, right? Which is when everything goes skyrocket and people were buying Lamborghinis and making all this money, right? Now, is it risky? Yes, obviously. Crypto is risky because it's volatile. Not like I just mentioned earlier, Bitcoin is no longer as risky as it used to be because now everybody wants it. The biggest asset manager in the world, BlackRock, owns tons of Bitcoin. And they don't specifically own it, but they have an ETF. And the ETF is traded on the stock market, which me and you can purchase through our 401ks and our Roth IRAs and stuff like that. So it's on the stock market. It's there, right? Coinbase, which is the biggest crypto exchange, is a publicly traded company. You can actually buy the stock today if you wanted to. So these companies are probably not going to go anywhere anytime soon. Not to mention Coinbase also houses all the money that goes into the ETF. So all the Bitcoin that's being bought for the ETFs, Coinbase is the custodian for that, right? So I don't think that's going to go anywhere. So let's get back to the question, should you invest in crypto? Now, the word crypto, that's going to require at least, I mean, I'm just guessing here, but at least, a day's worth of videos and research. Like, you're going to have to go into understanding what it is and what to invest in. You don't have to know how it works, right? Nobody knows how the internet works, but we still use it. Nobody even knows how mobile communications work, and we still use it. However, you want to know what companies, right? You want to know which is the Amazon of crypto, which is the Google of crypto, which is going to be the Apple of crypto. You're going to want to know those things. The one thing I could tell you is that everyone should own Bitcoin because it's going to be digital gold. It's going to be here for a long time. I think it's going to continue going up. It's a supply and demand thing. Again, not financial advice. Do your own research. But I think everyone should at least look into it, right? And a perfect example of this is Fidelity. So Fidelity is one of the biggest companies out there that hold 401ks, and they custodian the 401ks for a lot of companies. People do their Roth IRAs with them, and now they offer Fidelity crypto. Now, they only give you the option to buy 3 cryptocurrencies, right? And there are thousands of them, right? So they only let you buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. And these are the 3 biggest coins. Actually, they also let you buy Litecoin, but I don't really like Litecoin, so I ignore that one. But Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana are the 3 biggest Bitcoin cryptocurrencies right now in the industry. A lot of people like to mention XRP because it is up there, but those are the 3 biggest ones. And if somebody like Fidelity is letting you purchase that, they know something we don't know, right? They know those three assets are gonna be worth something in the future. They're not gonna go to zero because they wouldn't put their name on something like that. And now they offer that for you. And not only do they offer it as a regular exchange, they also offer it in your Roth. So now you can buy Bitcoin and Ethereum in your Roth IRA, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana in your Roth IRA, which means you can buy, if Bitcoin's really going to go to 1 million, 10 million, 20 million, who knows how long you're going to be alive and how long that's going to take. But if Bitcoin really goes to $10 million one day and you bought it in your Roth, you get to pull that out tax-free at 59.5, right? So remember that. So the question, if whether or not you should buy crypto, in general, you have to do your research for that, right? In terms of the biggest three, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, if you do your research on that, also, you'll see that the governments are using it. They're trying to put everything on the blockchain. Google what blockchain means. I'm not going to get into that right now. But blockchain is where crypto sits, right? So a lot of companies, banks, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Western Union, all these companies are now using the blockchain, right? Western Union just announced that they're going to use Solana to send money back and forth. So these are things you want to know, right? So you should get into these now if they're going to be our future. And that's just my opinion. That's what I do. Again, not financial advice. Do your own research. Crypto is volatile. You could put money in today and go down 50% tomorrow. However, chances are it'll recover to 50% within the next couple of years, or maybe even a couple of months or weeks. That's how volatile it is. But just know that. You know what you're investing, and know that you should only put a portion of your portfolio into crypto so that you have eggs in different baskets. And if you did put, for example, I don't know, $1,000 of your portfolio in crypto and it went to $5,000, right? You can pull out your 1,000 and now you're risk free, right? And now you got $4,000 just sitting there risk free, that can grow as far as you want it to grow. So that's my opinion on crypto. It's no Bitcoin itself, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. I don't think they are no longer scams. It's not like, don't mess with that because you're going to lose money. Yes, it's volatile. That's why you could lose money because it goes up and down pretty fast. But in terms of long-term investing, it appears that our governments, our president, and a lot of big companies and hedge funds are buying this. They're willing to use it in the future, and I don't think it's gonna go to zero anymore. You know what I mean? Like everybody's like, oh, crypto's gonna go to zero. I don't think that's gonna happen. Now there's gonna be a lot of cryptocurrencies that do go to zero, but in terms of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, that's like saying Amazon, Apple, and Google are gonna go to zero tomorrow. Can it happen? Possibly. It's possible, but would it happen? Likeliness, it's not gonna happen. So that's my opinion. Hopefully you guys, that helped you, and you'll do some research on this so you guys understand a little more what cryptocurrency is and how powerful it is for your portfolio. And if you like this type of content, as always, make sure you subscribe, like this video, if you want to be part of my community and get paid with Jay. See you guys in the next one.